Okay, let's talk about what this is. This is really easy. You have an equation, but now you have 5x to the fourth power minus 3 equals 117. So one thing, I'm not going to list out 4 answers for x because there are not 4 answers for x, because you see we have x to the first only. Now if there were x to other powers, then I would be looking for 4 answers. But if I have x to the fourth only, there's either 1 or 2 answers to these kinds of problems. And we have an even exponent, so if we have an even, there's going to be 2 answers. Now, all we have to do really is just concentrate on getting the x to the fourth power by itself. So then I add 3, and that's 120. 5x to the fourth equals 120. Then I undo the multiplication of 5 by dividing by 5. And x to the fourth power, and that is 24. Now, we do a root, but it's not going to be a square root. It is going to be a fourth root, okay? So I put a fourth root, and that cancels, and then I'll have just x, okay? Now, I'm going to allow you to approximate these answers on this assignment on your calculator. You don't need to use that sheet to find out what it is, okay, or what it divides by, or if it's on the list, okay? To do a fourth root, you go 4, then you go second, and then you click this key here, where the upside down V is at, okay? And that says I want it to be a fourth root, and then 24. So I round that 2.21. But since it's a fourth root, it could be positive or negative, so I put a little plus minus. So that means our 2 answers are 2.21 and negative 2.21. There's no way you can get any other answers. Now, this time we have x to the fifth, but it's x to the fifth only, okay? So I like those only ones. But this time it's to an odd power, so there's only one answer, and the positive is the answer. So I add 2 to both sides, and that's 120. And I don't even need to divide here, okay? I just need to get rid of the fifth power. So I do a root, but it's a fifth root. And then the same thing and then I'll have x by itself, and then I do a fifth root on this side. So I go 5, same process, 120, and I get 2.61, okay? But it's just the positive because it was an odd power. Okay, moving right along. You might think, again, get out of the habit of listing how many answers there are and look at what you have. Now, if I have the x to the third with other x's, yeah, there's going to be 3. But if I have x to the third only, there's going to be 1 or 2. And since that's an odd power, there's only going to be 1. So add 4 to both sides. 2x to the third power equals 80. I undo the multiplying of 2 by dividing. X to the third equals 40, okay? And then I need to make a root, and it has to be a third root, a cubed root, okay? So that's x. And we will not be having the plus or minus, okay? I go 3, second, and again, you don't go second. You have to go 3 second, and then the upside down V, and that tells your calculator you want this to be a third root of 40. Okay, and I got 3.42. Okay, and my next problem, there's x to the third power only. So it's an odd, so again, we only have one answer. So here's my 2x to the third. I have to undo the plus 16 by subtracting the 16. That's 4, so 2 times x to the third equals 4. Then I divide by 2, and x to the third equals 2. Easy assignment, okay? So cubed. So the cubed root of 2. Now again, don't worry about the list. Just go 3. Approximate it on your calculator. I'm fine with decimals when doing these higher powers, okay? You don't need any list, okay? So upside down V and then 2. Okay, 1.26, so it's only one answer. Okay, there we have it. Okay, let's go to the back side. Hopefully we get some even ones. Okay, so here we have x to the 4th only. So we have an even power, so there's going to be two answers, okay, because it's even. The positive and the negative are the same thing, so I need to add 1 to both sides, and 3x to the power of 4 equals 81. Then I undo the times 3 by dividing by 3, and that gives me 27. Then I find the 4th root of each side, not the square root though. So x, now it's even, so it's going to be a positive or a negative. Okay, I go 4 second, this sign here, 27, and that gives me 2.28. If you're off by 100th with your rounding, that's fine. 2.28, negative 2.28. Okay, here we have x to the 6th only, so that's even though, so there's two answers. If that's the only x you have, then it's either one answer or two answers. So I'd undo the minus 4 by adding 4, and that's 4x to the 6 equals 16. Then I need to divide by 4. Don't jump the gun on the root. The root's the last thing you do. Okay. So 6th root, and I need to find the 6th root of 4. It's probably a pretty small number, so 6, second, this key, 4, and then 1.26, okay? But it could be positive or negative, 1.26 or negative 1.26. Okay, my next problem, we have x to the 3rd only, and that's an odd, so there's only the one solution. So I add 1 to both sides, 3x to the 3rd power equals 81. Then I undo the multiplication of 3. A lot of people do their root at that place. That's wrong. Okay, the root's the last thing you do. So 3. Okay, so x equals, and to find the cube root of 27, I go 3, second, the upside down v, not the square root, okay? 27, and I got 3, okay? 3 on the dot. Okay, now this one here, we have x to the 3rd only. So then I add 4 to both sides. So 2x to the 3rd equals 14. Then I undo the times 2 by dividing by 2. X to the 3rd equals 7. And then I find the cubed root of 7. Okay. So I go 3, second. This key here, you're going to get 7. Okay. 1.19. There's only one answer though because it's an odd exponent, 1.91. Okay, that's all I have to say on that. I hope it's been informative, and yeah.